Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the new Minister of Interior continues his first contact towers. For the national scene in Canada, Trudeau calls murders on Muslim family a terrorist attack. Welcome to our newsroom. The Minister of Interior, Said Nuh Hassan, went today to the first contact towers at the fire station of Djibouti in the presence of the director of this institution, Colonel Mahmoud Musa Mahmoud. The minister was accompanied by his close collaborators. After a warm welcome with a troop of honors and the flag, he was able to visit the various local as well as the various vehicle of the fleet of the fighter department of Djibouti. This visit is part of the tower of contact of the ministers with the various bodies under his ministry. The discussions allowed the new minister to soak up the reality of the work. It was also an opportunity for him to visit the premises to see the working conditions of staff and know the mission of this institution but also prospects. During this trip, the Minister of Interior was accompanied by his close collaborator. In a brief welcome speech, the director of this noble institution, Colonel Mahmoud Musa Mahmoud, held first of all congratulate the ministers for his appointment to the head of this department. On this occasion, the minister congratulated the director of this institution, this noble institution, Colonel Mahmoud Musa Mahmoud, and his team for the warm welcome he received. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdullah, has received the resident coordinator of the United Nations system, Ms. Barbara Manzi, the representative of UNICEF, Melva Johnson, and the representative of World Health Organization, Dr. Rene van der Wert. Note the presence of the Secretary General, Dr. Salah Benoita Turab, and several executives of the department who took part in this discussion, mainly on the strengthening of the Djibouti health system. During this meeting, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdullah, unveiled the new directions taken to improve the provision of health care in our country, including the priority of his department on strengthening primary health care and the community approach. In the continuity of the contact towers with the development partner, the Minister of Women and Family, Muna Usman Aden, received yesterday, June 8, 2021, in her cabinet, the representative of UNFPA, Ms. Aisha Ibrahim. The meeting was an opportunity to make an overview of the different programs in progress and to take about the perspectives in order to improve the living conditions of the citizens in general and in particular of women and girls. Were present at the Secretary General of the Ministry, Ms. Anis Hassan Bahdon, and the UNFPA Program Officer, Mr. Roble Douale Hersi. The Minister of Women and Family, Muna Usman Aden, received today, Tuesday, June 9, in her cabinet, in her offices, the resident representative of the World Bank, Mr. Babakar Sedbari. The visit of the representative is part of the continuity of the contact, essential for the continuity of the work already started and the expansion of ways and means of partnership still in the framework of her assumption of duty in a new department. The Minister of Women and Family, Muna Usman Aden, received this Monday, June 9, in her cabinet, the UNDP resident representative, Ms. Fatima Al-Sheikh, after congratulating her on her reappointment as minister in new portfolio. The resident representative said that this courtesy visit is part of the collaboration between the ministry and UNDP. As part of her assumption of office, the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdo, made her first visit to institutions under her supervision, namely the Djibouti Social Development Agency, ADDS. The minister was accompanied by the Secretary General, Ms. Ifrah Ali Ahmed, and her close collaborator of the ministry. The delegation was warmly welcomed by the Director General, Mr. Mahdi Mohammed, and all the teams of the agency. It was an opportunity for the Director General and other senior staff to introduce themselves and present all the activities. The immersion has allowed the new minister to immerse herself in the programs conducted by the various departments. Indeed, presentations and discussions followed as they went along, allowing for an overview of the agency. They also raised the many difficulties encountered in the executions of ADDS program. The Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe, visit today the CDC of the neighborhood 4, 6, 7, and Arhiba. This visit of the first contact with the institution under the supervision of his department, accompanied by the Director of Youth, Ms. Khaltoun Ige Hussein, the Director of CDC, Ms. Ruqya Hassan, and the Technical Advisor, Ms. Asli Muhammad Hussein. The Minister of Youth, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe, began his contact visit at the Community Development Center of the Neighborhood 4, then at the Neighborhood 6, 7, and finally Arhiba. After a warm welcome in the different Community Development Center, the Minister of Youth took a guided tours of the cultural and sports facilities, including the library, training rooms, and game rooms. The visit, as usual, ended with an exchange between the minister and the representatives to discuss ways to diversify the programs. Overall, key themes were addressed, such as the fight against school dropout, unemployment, health prevention through recreational activities, awareness, social and economic integration, animations on civic mindedness, as well as an active awareness in favor of the anti-COVID vaccination. The minister underlined the important role of the CDC in raising awareness of the fight against COVID-19, especially vaccination. She was able to learn about the different activities undertaken by the centers, which remain adequate opportunity for awareness and prevention in favor of youth. The Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe, for her part, emphasized the important role of the CDC in raising awareness of the fight against HIV/AIDS and especially vaccinations of COVID-19. She was able to learn about the different activities undertaken by the centers, which remain adequate opportunity for sensitization and prevention in favor of youth. Finally, the Minister of Youth welcomed all the efforts undertaken by all the social actors and recalled the complementarity link between youth and culture. She encouraged in the direction of widening of the mission and activities thanks to the assistance of the volunteers. The president of the Ports and Free Zone Authority, Mr. Abubakar Umar Haddi, received the magnate of the industry and Australian breeding stations, Mr. Andrew Forrest, in these quarters located in the tower of Pica 23 yesterday in the late afternoon. Mr. Andrew Forrest, accompanied by a strong delegation composed mainly of his staff, were received with great pomp. Mr. Andrew Forrest and his staff visiting Djibouti, a presentation on investment opportunities in Djibouti, major infrastructure project and the potential of infrastructure neurologic. All this to seduce these sectors investors so that they take advantage of the opportunities offered by the countries. In this busy schedule, the Australian billionaires Mr. Andrew Forrest and his delegation visit the SGTD port. On-site, the delegation was welcomed by senior officials who briefly gave information on the transshipment loading and unloading of the SGTD. A guided tower conduct in some real immersions of these regional leaders without is followed by a visit to Dorale Multi-Purpose Port DMP, welcomed by the member of the DMP, Mr. Jama Ibrahim Darar. The visitors were immersed in the capabilities of the infrastructure that has made our country an essential regional hub in world trade. Like the Republic of Djibouti, the Hill 7 and 8 deployed in Beledweyne celebrate joy and good humors while ensuring a high level of security in the day of Sunday, June 6, 2020, the 44th anniversary of the creation of the Djiboutian Armed Forces. Let's recall that these two battalions strong of 2,000 men and women operate within the framework of the establishment of the lasting peace in Somalia under the banner of EMISOM. Despite their difficult missions, these two battalions were keen to celebrate the 44th anniversaries of the armed forces with joy and happiness. The ceremony was a symbolic taking up of arms because of the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. For this purpose, the parade was banned. Thus, it was the head of battalion Hill 7, Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi Musa, who conducted a traditional review of troops. Colonel Abdullahi Musa first paid tribute to the flag, where the national anthems resounded with particular emotion.
Anniversaire de la création.
Similarly, the Hill 8 Battalion recently deployed to Jalalahsi in January 2021 under the command of Colonel Muhammad Umar Assowe was keen to celebrate the 44th anniversary of the Djibouti Armed Forces despite the risks. This battalion deployed in the Hiran region is 1,000 men and women strong. This 44th anniversaries of the armed forces since June 6 in 1977 had special aspects because of this battalion. It is the first armed ceremony in a theater of operation as a deployed battalion. Thus, Hill 8 Battalion Chief Colonel Muhammad Umar Assowe conducted a traditional review of troop. Battalion Chief Hill 8 Colonel Muhammad Umar Assowe first paid tribute to the flag, where the national anthem resounded with particular emotion.
Qui nous a permis de poursuivre nos réunions de travail durant la période de confinement. À cela s'ajoute la réhabilitation.
The Regional Council of Ali Sabih hosted yesterday a ceremony to give driving licenses to about 50 young people in the region of Ali Sabih, financed by Sojik Cat Company. The ceremony took place in the presence of the prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Adan Migane, the president of the regional council, Umar Ahmed Baisa, the member of parliament, Harun Saeed Gedi, the president of the Cat Soji company, Mr. Abdurrahman Musa Barkhadle, the director of the agency, Mr. Faisal Hassan Haga, heads of the local police and gendarmerie detachments, state officials, personalities from all sides, and many others. Individuals from civil society took part in this event. The prefect of the region and the president of the regional council thanked the president of the cat company, Sojik, Mr. Abdurrahman Musa Barkhadle, for his support in promoting the employability of the region's youth. During the day of 7 June 2021, the BCIMR organized a day of meeting with the traders of the Obok region in the presence of Mr. Regis Pariak, General Manager, Mr. Abdullah Ibrahim, Deputy General Manager, the teams of commercial line and the officials of the region, in this case the prefect of the region, Abdul Malik Muhammad Banoita, the president of the regional council, Muhammad Humad Ismail, and the member of parliament, Kamil Humad Ahmed. The aim of this day was to raise awareness among local traders about the opportunities and advantages offered by this bank to local traders about the opportunities to promote the local economy in all sectors of activity. BCIMR teams presented the different products of the bank intended for traders. The day was rich in exchanges. The merchants were able to ask their questions directly to the management of the BCIMR. It is with sadness that we learned the death of the late Ayan Abdou Ali, born in 1987 in Djibouti. The deceased died in Marseille. The deceased leaves behind her a husband and two daughters. We send our sincere condolences to the entire family of the deceased, Ali Amarkek, especially to her aunts Ubah Idil Ni'ma Ali Amarkek. May God welcome him to his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has on Tuesday denounced Sunday's ramming attack on Muslim families in London in the east central province of Ontario, calling it a terrorist attack motivated by religious hatred. This killing was not an accident. It was a terrorist attack, he told the House of Commons in Ottawa, saying he was horrified by a brutal, cowardly, and brazen attack that left 4 dead and 1 seriously injured. Police say the motorist, a 20-year-old man, intentionally targeted the victims because of their Islamic faith. He is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murders, recalling the numerous acts of anti-Muslim violence in recent years. Mr. Justin Trudeau called for an end to Islamophobia in Canada. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.